What up? What up? Welcome to another edition of From Beyond the Champagne. I'm Cody. As always, you can follow me on Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram at the same handle, here on YouTube at Cody_CHGO. Just another reminder, we got a voicemail number if you guys want to call, send your thoughts, vent about the team. Perhaps I finally will get one tomorrow because Illinois plays its first big test against a big school tomorrow. They get their first true road game against a real opponent. Anyway, still have yet to get that first voicemail. So I'm always saying it at the beginning just in case. But the voicemail number 312-379-9256. Again, 312-379-9256. Of course, everyone here on YouTube, let me know how you feel about this game going into tomorrow. Live on YouTube right now. We hit 550 subscribers this week. And we have more good vibes with Illinois athletics. We'll get into that. We'll have some predictions at the end. I got a few keys to the game. And overall, let's start with the vibe going into this game. And if you haven't figured it out by now and you haven't looked at the schedule, Illinois goes to Alabama tomorrow, again, for its first true road test. And I'm giddy. I'm excited. And that's a sign that your program is exciting, because old me would be dreading this game. Because, truthfully, I don't think Illinois has a shot tomorrow. I really don't think Illinois has a shot tomorrow. I would love to be proven wrong, folks. I would love to be proven wrong. People love to tell me when I'm wrong. But in this particular instance, I hope I am wrong. I do not think Illinois has a shot tomorrow, but we shall see. You got to play the game, right? Why do I not think Illinois has a shot against Alabama tomorrow? Well, I did watch Alabama go to Purdue and lose. And a game that, honestly, I think they played really well for as tough as an environment that it is going to Mackey Arena in Purdue. They went 9 for 29 from the three-point line. Yeah, 9 for 29 against Purdue. And you got to think, if they make a few more of those open threes they had a lot of wide open threes and they just didn't go down. You got to think, if they make a few more of those threes, perhaps they're at least a 1 or 2 possession point difference, you know. Meanwhile, Purdue, not only did they get contributions from guys that you weren't sure if you were going to get them, but you also got really good three-point shooting from them as well. So I say all that because now is a good spot for Alabama to bounce back against a respectable Illinois team, but a very young Illinois team. And this Alabama team has a lot of experience. A guy on their team that we've all seen in recent years, Cliff Amori, their center, had 4 blocks against Purdue, was a force down in the middle of the paint, right? That's one guy. They got a guy named Mark Sears who didn't shoot well, went 1 for 6 from 3 against Purdue, shot 5 of 15 overall. He's better than that. And, you know, overall for a team that did not shoot well, to lose they lost by 11 on the road at Purdue, a really good team, a team with also that has experience. To me, if I'm coming away from that game, if I'm an Alabama fan, thinking, all right, well, I think Purdue answered some questions. We have some questions to answer now, but overall, just wasn't our night. It's a tough road environment to go to. Now they come home. I believe it could be at a neutral site, but it's in Alabama, so it's a road game, or it's a home game. I'm pretty sure. I'm going to check that right now. But again, it's a road game for Illinois. How well will Illini fans travel? I think well. Illini fans always travel well. It's be on the SEC network tomorrow at 8 p.m. Part of the CM Newton Classic. Okay. I am trying to find this out. It's in Birmingham. Maybe it is just a regular home game. I don't know. But Alabama went 25-12 overall, the 12-6 record in non-conference play during last season. Illinois finished 29-9 overall, the 12-3 record in non-conference games last year as well. Obviously, Illinois' team's a lot different. I say what Alabama did because a lot of their team has a lot of familiar faces on it. So I think that this is a learning spot. This could be a really good learning spot for the Illini. I'm going to bring up Action Network and go see if the lines are out. I can't bet on this game. However, if I were to bet on this game, like I would have the moment the lines came out for this game, I would have gone and immediately taken the over. Because these teams, they play a fun brand of basketball. They play fast. They shoot a lot of threes, right? I think that could be to Illinois' advantage tomorrow for sure. The total for this game is 167.5. It opened at 163.5. The spread opened at 4.5, and it's moved to 8.5. Illinois 8.5 point underdogs going to Alabama. You can tell that most of America thinks Alabama is going to bounce back in a big way tomorrow. Now, I said this when we talked about the schedule. If you go back to the schedule breakdown episode I did with Sonny Verma from Locked On Illini, we talked a lot about this Alabama game. And I don't know what to expect. Now, Illinois is coming off what I would call a bad game, but they won, and they won by 12, right, against Oakland, a decent mid-major program. And now you've had a week to kind of take that in, look at some film, practice some things, and go and try and shock the world tomorrow. That's what you have. That's what Brad Underwood has on his plate for tomorrow. I think Illinois, best case scenario for me outside of winning is that they hang around and find a way to cover. Because I think if they at least do that, I think Illini fans will feel confident moving forward. I wish they were playing Alabama in February instead, I guess in this case, March, because I think we will know a lot more about the team then. But obviously, this is one of those games where a lot of these young guys are going to get a lot of good experience playing in a tough road environment that this team just isn't used to. It will be good for them down the road, but you got to go through the bumps in the road to get to that point, right? So that's why I don't feel really good about Illinois winning tomorrow. Do I think they can hang around? Sure, because I think they match up well. But they got to be able to make shots. They didn't shoot well from 3 last week against Oakland. And I think against Alabama, they will have to make shots. I don't think they can shoot bad and win the game, especially on the road. But if you are going to shoot similarly as you did against Oakland against Alabama, you can't turn the ball over 18 times. I'm saying all the obvious things, right? But I'm just being honest. Like, if they have any shot to win tomorrow, they can't turn the ball over, need to make their free throws, and they're going to need the key players on this team to perform. They need Kylan Boswell to play better. Offensively, at least. I think he's played well defensively, and he could be a key matchup tomorrow. I imagine he'll be on Mark Sears tomorrow. But they need Kylan Boswell to be a little bit more aggressive offensively, I think. I talked about that a little bit in the last episode. They need him to be a little bit more aggressive. They're going to need Kasparas to bounce back from his last game. Last game, he had like 5 turnovers. And he wasn't aggressive offensively either. Obviously, in their last game, it was a game dominated by bigs, right? Tomislav had a great game, and Humrickhouse had a great game. And those guys are key. They have to continue to play well. I think Illinois will have a chance to win if the 5 guys in their starting lineup are all in double figures. I think that will be key. They need those guys to play well. And who knows, maybe Will Riley can be that lightning rod off the bench and come off the bench and kind of light it up. Maybe, right? Let's look at some chats. We got a few chats here early. Christopher Reese. He says, Bama and the SEC are completely stacked. Just don't get embarrassed, and that's a moral victory, in my opinion. Yeah. Isn't it sickening that the SEC is also really good at basketball? Like, it's already annoying enough that the football, like every football program in the SEC probably would stack up really well in any other conference. Take Mississippi State or Florida and put them in any other conference in America. I think that they would stack up pretty well against most teams. And I think those teams stink. But that's how stacked the SEC is. But anyway, yeah, no, I'm not here for moral victories. I'm not. We as Illinois fans have set the bar higher, right? We used to dream to just make the NCAA tournament, right? Now it's like, no, we make the NCAA tournament and we better get to the second weekend. Again, if this game was in March or, let's just pretend that Alabama is a conference team for 5 minutes. If this game was in January or February, I would think more like that. But this is the 4th game of the year. This is your first true test against a real opponent. You're young. You have a lot of inexperience. Meanwhile, Alabama has the opposite of that. They're a top 10 team in the country, and they're coming off a loss on the road. This is a great spot for Alabama to get back into what they want to do. Meanwhile, Illinois is coming off, honestly, a bad game. Call it however you want to call it. They won by 12 against a team that they probably should have won by 20 against. This is, again, nothing against them. Perhaps they use this game, or they use that game. They take what they learn from it and go and play better than what I'm expecting against Alabama, right? I hope so. But I'm just being honest. I don't feel great about tomorrow. I'm hoping, like Christopher said, that don't get embarrassed. Show some growth. See how you do with adversity. Say Alabama gets out to a 8-0 lead to start the game. Brad Underwood calls a timeout. How do you respond to that? You know what I mean? Something like that. If something like that happens, I hope that doesn't happen because that's worst case scenario for me. I just give us some consistently good minutes. Hang around and we'll see what happens. If you have an opportunity to steal a game on the road against Alabama, that would be incredibly massive for this program. Incredibly. I say all this, and I feel like Alabama or Illinois has the talent to perhaps go win this game. If they hit shots, if they shoot well from 3, if they can shoot above 40% from 3 as a team and not turn the ball over, I think they can be in this game and maybe win. That's a lot to ask, though, especially on the road. So, yeah, I want to be optimistic, but tomorrow is definitely a prove it game for me. Or maybe it's a measuring stick. You know what I mean? Maybe we're trying to extend the line a little bit here, right? What's up, Sonny? How you doing, man? He's in the chat. Says, need Kasparas to assert himself offensively. I agree. How many times did he shoot the ball against Oakland, Sonny? Didn't he only shoot it like 3 times? Let's see. He shot the ball 3 times. Yeah, he shot the ball 3 times against Oakland. Now, he didn't shoot the ball that much against SIUE, but he also got to the free throw line more than anyone else that night. And that's where he got most of his points to go with his triple-double. He needs to be he needs to use what he learned from the last game and take that into this game. I do think that he's the type of guy that will get up for a big game like this and go play at his best ability. We talk about a lot about Kasparas and how he is a guy who makes everyone better. He is a playmaker, but he can also go and get his too. So I think the key for him is to recognize, okay, what does the team need from me to start this game? And hopefully that gets him into a good rhythm and he has his best game as an Illini, because they're gonna need him to be that if they're going to win the game. So I think that's definitely a key for Illinois to if they're going to win. All right. Just looking at KenPom rankings, Alabama is 10th in KenPom, 4th in offensive efficiency, and 46th in defensive efficiency, and 17th in adjusted tempo. Illinois is 26th in KenPom, which is actually funny because they are 25th in the AP poll. And I felt like the 2 weeks that they weren't, or I guess technically 3 weeks that they weren't in the AP poll, they were inside the top 25 in KenPom. Now they're outside the top 25 in KenPom, but they're in the AP poll. Make it make sense to me. But they're 26th in KenPom, 35th in offensive efficiency, 25th in defensive efficiency, and 46th in tempo. If I hope I read all those right and wrote it down correctly. So, yeah, I think that all these numbers and everything, they are what they are. I just think that Illinois matches up really well against this Alabama team, and that's the only thing giving me a little bit of hope. Who's a key player for Illinois in this? We'll get to that. But what about keys to the game? Keys to the game, my friends. I wrote down 3 things. All right. Contain Cliff Amore. Cliff Amore, if you don't remember, he transferred from Rutgers. He was like the only thing you had to worry about when you played Rutgers last year, especially. They weren't very good last year. But he's a dog, and he had a great game, in my opinion, against Purdue. 7 points, 7 rebounds, and he had 4 blocks. All right. He is a monster down low defensively, especially. And Illinois is not going to be able to score all their points from the 3-point line, right? They're going to have to get some points at the rim. And it's going to be tough when he is out there. But if he isn't going to go do anything against you offensively, do not let him dominate on the defensive side either. I think he is a guy that we're going to learn a little bit about Tomislav a little bit more. Sonny, you were in the chat last show. You asked me if he was the best player on Illinois' team. To this point, 3 games in, I would say that he has definitely played like the best player on the team. But he hasn't played a real school yet, outside of an exhibition game against Ole Miss. We're going to see how he matches up with Cliff Amore. He's got to stay out of foul trouble, and he's got to hold his own. And I'm interested to see how Illinois is able to attack him at the rim. Again, he had 4 blocks last game against Purdue. All right, so that's one key, is to find a way to not let him become a defensive monster against you. And I say this, and I'm thinking about back into that Elite 8 game against UConn, and that one guy that ended up going to the Trailblazers. I'm already forgetting his name because I don't want to remember the game. But whoever the center was that ended up getting drafted top 5, went to the Trailblazers from UConn. He just owned them defensively on top of just being great. Like, he was already an offensive force too, but he every time Illinois drove, he was right there. Didn't let them get anything at the rim. And I'm like envisioning that maybe Cliff Amore could do somewhat similar to that. I don't think he's nearly as good. It's bothering me that he's not ringing a bell in my head, like the name at least. I have to go Google it now or else I'm going to hate myself. Trailblazers roster. I'm pretty sure he's on the Trailblazers. Donovan Clingan. Thank you. Sonny beat me to it. Donovan Clingan. Maybe I'm wrong about Amore, But I feel like he's had good games against Illinois when he's at Rutgers. He's going to be familiar with how Illinois runs, how Illinois plays. And I just feel like he could be a big factor. So not letting him own you defensively, I think, is key. All right. The next thing, I mentioned him earlier, Mark Sears. All right. Mark Sears had a terrible game against Purdue, and they still only lost by like 11. He shot the ball terribly. Shot 1 for 6 from 3, I believe, 5 of 15 from the field. So I expect him to come out and be aggressive. He threw up 15 shot attempts against Purdue. So he got his shots up. Can Illinois contain him like Purdue did? I imagine Kylan Boswell will be on him. As much as I'm down on him offensively right now, I do think he's played well defensively. I think he holds himself to a high standard defensively. Can Kylan Boswell lock him down? I think that's another key. If they're going to win this game, they need Kylan Boswell to defend him well. I assume he will be the one guarding him. Yeah. The guard play for Alabama versus Illinois' guards, I feel like is the big question here. Who will be better? Obviously, Alabama, more experience in that realm, but Illinois has the talent. Can they answer the call to what the environment will be? We'll see. And then last key, and this is more of a just remember, and I kind of talked about it a little bit earlier, like Alabama shot 9 of 29 from 3 against Purdue, and I just expect them to shoot better at home. And it wouldn't matter who is playing them. Like, they had so many wide open shots against Purdue that just didn't go in. And to me, that is why they lost the game. I felt like if they played that game again at a neutral site, or hell, even play them at Purdue again, not only do I think that the score is closer, but for sure, I feel like Alabama would win the second time, because it just felt like Alabama was getting shots that they wanted, and just a lot of them didn't go down. And that's just basketball, right? Like, all you can do is run your sets, get the best shot, and shoot it with confidence and hope it goes down. So, yeah, I'm expecting Bama to come out guns a-blazing, and wanting to shoot better against Illinois. And so I think key for Illinois is to, again, I don't think 9 of 29 is going to happen, but if you can hold them, if you can somehow manage to hold them under 10 threes, or maybe I should put it to like under 13 threes. If you shoot well and you hold them to under 13 threes, you perhaps might have a chance. And depending on if they make 13 threes, it depends on how many they also throw up there. They could throw up 40 of them and only make 13. That's not necessarily great. So I just think that 3-point shooting will be so key in this game. And the defense from Cliff Amori, how will Illinois' bigs defend him and also play against him or play with him down low on the offense? And Kylan Boswell's defense on Mark Sears. So those are my 3 things. I'm interested in anyone else's keys to the game if Illinois were to win. So let me know in the YouTube chat. If you're not watching live, let me know in the comments below, and maybe I'll read some of them on tomorrow's post game. And when I say that, I'll bring them up and say, "Oh, this guy was right. Oh, this guy was wrong." You know what I mean? So, yeah, man, I'm excited. Again, I'm excited for tomorrow's game. It's going to be a huge measuring game. And this is what we signed up for, man. Like, this is what, honestly, when you really think about it, this is like what we used to dream about, like playing in big non-conference games at the beginning of the year that test you, but you're playing in them because you are one of the premier programs in the country, right? I think there's something to say about the program with the schedule that Brad Underwood put together for this team in non-conference, and it really will test them, and I think that will bode well for them down the road. But there will be bumps in the road, and I'm afraid one of those bumps are tomorrow. I am, admittedly. So we'll see, man. We'll see. Either way, great. It should be a great environment for college basketball, and I'm hoping I'm wrong. I'm hoping that they win the game. Right. All right. Again, drop those comments on your keys to the game and how you feel like Illinois, see if Illinois has a chance or not. I did want to mention Illinois social media put this out this week. 4 stars, Keaton Wigler and Brandon Lee are officially signed. They're part of the 2025 class. Recruiting class, Lee's number 89 on Rivals. Again, both 4 stars, and Wigler was ranked in the top 150 overall for next year's class. So interesting to see if they make it to Illinois next year, considering a lot of guys that we thought were going to be on Illinois in the future during this time last year ended up either decommitting or whatever. Let's just use Jeremiah Fears as an example. I know he reclassed, but whatever. Just some interesting notes that I wanted to point out. So anyway, my guy Charlie Ruby is in the chat. He says, we just smoked Purdue, and all I can say is congratulations. Charlie is a Marquette fan, so congratulations, Charlie. I was rooting for you. I believe in the TikTok live today, we were I had the under, took the under 155. Last I checked, that looked pretty on key. And I think I leaned Purdue +5, but whatever. Not necessarily surprised to see a letdown from Purdue after that game. They're not nearly as good as last year's team. You're not going to be as good as last year's team without Edey, but I still think they are a top 3 team in the Big Ten. So anyway. All right. Well, mentioned the guys who signed. Interested to see how that plays out moving forward. I think the keys to the game for tomorrow are pretty clear. You got to be able to not let them shoot lights out against you. You also have to shoot better. No turnovers. These are all very simple things. But at the end of the day, Illinois, they can't turn the ball over 18 times like they did against Oakland. So I'm optimistic that Brad will have them ready to play a clean game. I'm optimistic that we'll get that. No unforced turnovers, right? That's where I'm at. Lazy Forrest Gump in the chat says, or LFG as I like to call him, I'm late, but here for the like and the support. Well, LFG, I'm about done, man. Unless you want to drop your key to winning tomorrow, I'll read it real quick, and then we'll get out of here. But as he says, he's here for a like and support. I appreciate that support. If you haven't hit the like button, hit the like button for me. The link for the Spotify, if you just want to listen to it instead of watching and looking at my big ugly face, you can go to the link in the description to Spotify and subscribe there. Would mean a lot as well. And yeah, I will be back tomorrow. For post game. Perhaps I think I'll actually be live on TikTok during the game tomorrow, just like watching the game. So if you don't follow me on TikTok, go ahead over there and shoot me a follow. It's the same handle as my YouTube channel. And yeah, just going to be watching the game, and so we can just react and talk about the game throughout the game. So yeah. Again, just Cody _ CHO. I post a lot of my full-time job content on top of Illini stuff and sports betting. So, yeah, man, that's I'll probably go live maybe 15 minutes before, just to like little prep, get the vibes going, and yeah, we'll ride it all out together. LFG says the key will be to contain Sears and Boswell showing his upperclassman chops. LFG, do you think that Boswell will be guarding Sears? Because I think he will. And I did talk a little bit about Boswell earlier and how he needs to step up offensively. So we are in basic agreement. I'm interested in what people how we think that they're going to go about guarding him, but I would imagine Boswell will be guarding him. So anyway, all right, guys. Well, I knew this was going to be a short one. There's not much I can say, just me, myself, and I'm hoping to get my guy Patrick on here tomorrow to help me do post game, and yeah, we'll do that right after the game, and yeah. That's really about it. I appreciate y'all's support, and I'll see y'all tomorrow either on TikTok Live or right here for postgame reacting to hopefully an Illinois win. Hopefully, crossing the fingers, knocking on all the wood, guys. Please prove me wrong. Please prove me wrong. As always, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Sleep tight. Say a prayer, maybe, and let's see. Can they at least cover the 8.5? We'll see. I'll see you guys then. As always, ILL.